Welcome back, guys, to our podcast, Two Girls Trying Not to Quit. And today we have a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about identity. We're going to talk all about what we believed, if we knew it when we were little, what we believe now, what we've learned. So, very excited to get into this. Audrey, let's get right into it. So, when you were little, or when you were growing up, when you were a teenager, did you had a perspective on what identity was? Was that even a question in your mind, or not at all?
Not at all. I feel like this is something that has really recently come into my life. I think vaguely I can think back and like, okay, I had an identity, but I didn't know what it was. And now I'm trying to figure out how to build it, how to learn, how to figure out actually what I want, and then how to put the steps in place to get there.
You said you recently started to think about it. What made you start? Was it a book? Was it somebody told you? Was it Instagram Reels? What was it?
I honestly had a mentor that said to me like I was getting in my own way. And that was kind of a slap in the face of okay, I need to reflect, I need to figure this out, figure out mindset, all these different pieces to put in place. And now I was like, okay, I need to figure out what my identity is, what I'm trying to build it to be, and how it's just evaluating how it's changed over time. But I don't know, is that something when you were growing up that you were aware of your identity and you were building it towards something or
Not at all. Like all this identity thing, I think it starts when where people try to sell you courses. Honestly, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's there's a lot of books out there and podcasts that have really helped, but it wasn't necessarily a thing when I was growing up. I didn't wake up every day, oh my goodness, what's my identity in the world? No, I woke up and I was like, I'm hungry and what am I going to do today? That's it. It's honestly so much simpler than now. But when I thought about it, I was like, when I was little, I used to say that I was a bipolar, which is not funny because I'm not bipolar, and that is a very serious condition to have. But I used to say that I was bipolar because I felt that I was a different version of myself with every single person that I was. So with my parents, I was one version. With my sister, I was another version. With my best friend, I was completely different. When I was at school, when I was playing with my cousins, I just felt like I had all these different personalities inside of me and versions of myself. And I would tell them, Mom, like, you just don't understand. Like, who you see me, who you see at home is not who I am at school. Like, and vice versa with the other people. And I would always tell them that. I was like, oh, you don't know me at all. You may know who I am with you, but you don't know who I am with somebody else. I don't know what's wrong with me. But that's how I used to think about it when I was little.
well, I feel like you
And
have
then,
there's a piece there of like certain people bring out different pieces of your personality and there's
mhm.
some that are like bring out the best version of you and some that don't. So you may have just learned that at a very, very young age.
100%. No, I learned that now. When I was little, honestly, I was just cray cray, or maybe I was just wise beyond my years. You never know. My goodness. Now, similar to you, it became from having mentors and reading books and listening to podcasts and really knowing what identity is. And I had to learn that identity is not because a lot of people out there, what they do with identity is they put their identity on external things, which can be like your job, your title, your achievement, how much money you make. All those things shouldn't be your identity. Your identity comes from who you are. And I actually have an interesting story about this because we played a game. One of my mentors, they made us play a game in which a whole bunch of people, and they gave each of us a like a role or a position. It was like doctor, janitor, lawyer, mother, all those words. They give it to us, and nobody knew what was what. And they just told us, okay, you're gonna put yourself in a line, a line one, two, three, four, five, whatever. And you're gonna put yourself in the position that you think it's like the most important. Okay, if I'm a doctor and I think I'm the most important one in the room, even though I don't know who anybody else is, I'm gonna go and put myself number one. Now, of course, I'm Cuban and I have a huge ego. And they gave me janitor and I put myself in number two after mother. Mother is number one, absolutely. Anyways, I thought that was the point of the game. And they tell me, girl, you have a very strong self-esteem to put yourself as number two being a janitor. But anyways, the point of the game, it was nobody won. The point wasn't to win. And they were like, well, you are all wrong. Because the point of the game was I said put yourself in order of like importance, but like your importance doesn't come from your title of what you do. It comes from who you are. And nobody realized that. Everybody was putting the value on their title and not on who you are as a person. And I was like, oh.
I was about to say you were doing a little bit on who you were as a person. You were like, yeah, I'm important.
Yeah, when we started arguing about like who was what, I was like, okay, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, but if I'm not there to clean your office or clean the whatever room, you're not doing your job. So
I love
that's
it.
just who I am. That's now, how are you think like you're building your identity now? Because now you know what it is. What do you think you're doing now? And what shifts have you made in your identity when you started working on it or knew about it?
Yeah. Yeah, at first I was just trying to figure out who I wanted to be. I
Hmm.
mean, like, okay, am I someone who shows up on time? Am I someone that when I say something, I'm going to do it? I think that's been the biggest thing of piece of building my identity right now is just building trust in myself. I've been like, okay, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning and I'm going to be at the gym by 6:30. And it's getting up and actually doing that. Because I
Hmm.
think those micro times when I've been like, oh, I'll just snooze it. Or, oh, I'm not going to read tonight. Or, oh, I
Yeah,
won't do this. I mean,
that's
this whole
building your
podcast,
identity. Yeah.
exactly. This whole podcast has been built on habits initially.
Yeah.
Um, and once we stopped that, it went from full force, all habits, to me being like, okay, I need a break of the habits. And I just lost a huge chunk of myself because before I was doing those habits, just maybe not consistently every day. And so now it's putting those pieces back in place to slowly build that in and be the identity of, the boss ass bitch that I'm trying to be. In order to be that, I have to have trust in myself.
Yeah.
So that's my new revelations and what I've been trying to build towards. And it's almost been stepping into an alter ego just to be able to practice it. And the practice
Yeah.
has been turning more into habit, which is just going to get better with time.
No,
So
100%. I agree 100% with what you said, especially the part where you're like, if I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And then that builds your identity. Because if you say, if you want to be a healthy person across the board and you go work out and you worked out, then you're more prone to eat healthy or go to bed earlier or just have healthy habits overall because you're doing one thing right. And then you start feeling it because that starts becoming your identity. And the same can happen with bad habits. It
exactly.
has a lot to do also with what you say to yourself in the mirror, or like I know people do affirmations. I personally don't do affirmations. I should. It's a very good thing for you. I lost that habit a little bit, but I know what you say to yourself and how you talk to yourself matters so much when it comes to your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the subconscious piece. Like there's the piece where you're doing the affirmations and you're aware and you're like, I am this, I am that.
Hmm.
There's the other piece of noticing your subconscious where it's like, oh, what are the thoughts that are just automatically coming into my head? Are they good? Are they bad? How do we rewire those to just
Yeah.
have those positive thoughts and go from, oh, for instance, I'm trying to be someone who works out versus I am someone who works out. So that's been another piece I've been looking at, and I actually hired a new mentor to look at how do we rewire the subconscious mind and just all around have a better mindset. I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's where I'm trying to head. But have you figured out kind of where you're wanting to head with your own identity?
The thing that I learned about my identity in specific is I don't put it on external things. If you put your identity on things that can change, like jobs, relationships, results, anything like that, that creates a very fragile identity and it can break at any point because it's not dependent on who you are. Now, if it's something that comes from within you, from your values, your faith, your character, your purpose, all these things, that's why you should put it on. Who do I want to be? Do I want to be like a good person? What values do I want to have? And how does that person behave? If some of those behaviors don't correlate with who I am now, then I try to become that and I just start doing it little by little. Don't overcomplicate it. I really, for me, I make it super easy. Everything, it's not the end of the world. just be very aware of where you're putting it on. Because if you put it on a job and you lose that job tomorrow, then you're going to be lost. That's when you see a lot of people who have had, for example, the same career for a long time and they lose it. They're lost in life because they don't, it's like, wow, I lost this huge part of myself because they put their identity on that. What about you?
I had a follow up question because when you were younger, you mentioned with different people, you almost had different identities. So how has that changed now, like as you've developed?
I think now I'm way more normal than I was when I was little. Now I think I'm the same way with everyone. Of course, you're gonna have certain traits and certain things that you don't talk about with specific people, but who I am as a whole, I think is very, very well balanced across the board, and I treat everybody kind of the same. I'm like the mother of the every group. I identify as the mother of every group ever. And yeah, I'm just very balanced, very deep. I ask a lot of questions. I When I was little, I was crazy. That's
It's
what I
fair.
can say. That is the best answer I can give you.
There's so much development, so much changing when you're young. You just have no idea what the world holds. So it's just one big question mark and
Yeah,
whole shit ton of hormones, and just surprised we make it to adulthood.
honest. Good job, parents. We made it.
It's interesting because we develop so much over time, and it's we are going to continue this process where our identity keeps changing and we keep building and keep practicing and figuring out, okay, what is that purpose that's going to drive our identity? What is going to be fulfilling at the end of the day? And that's the cool part. It's the fun part, which makes more sense to when you write stuff down, then you can go back and be like, wow, that's cool. That's what I thought a year ago or 2 years ago, and now this is where I am, and these are my goals now, and this is who I want to become. So it's definitely not perfect. It's You're on a path of progression, and that's what really really matters. So glad we could talk
Exactly.
about.
It's a work in progress. We're not perfect by any means. We're still figuring it out. And everything we say on this podcast and in every podcast is just what we've learned until now. Who knows what we can learn tomorrow? And maybe we'll be totally wrong. But as of right now, that's what we learned. And I think we've come pretty far. So, Audrey, I am just dying to know what does not quitting mean for you, right?
Not quitting for me, it's just still trying when things are getting hard. I feel like I was hitting rock bottom a couple weeks ago, and if not last week, and I touched the bottom, and we're going back up. And so it's been nice of just showing, okay, if you keep pushing, you keep trying, and trying different things too. When it's not working, it's like, don't keep doing what's not working. And now I feel so much lighter and happier and making steps to prioritize the things that are exciting to me. So we'll keep going along the journey, and just not quitting is how I've gotten so to here right now. But for you in this week, what is not quitting looking like for you?
Yeah, this week is interesting because this week, not quitting for me actually means quitting things that don't align with the things I want. And I've actually heard a lot about this lately because there's a negative connotation on quitting in everything. No, like there are some things, it's not okay to quit on the things that you really want, or if things get hard, or in relationships, if things get hard in your job and whatever it is, it's not okay to quit for if it gets difficult, but it is totally okay to quit things that don't serve you anymore. If that relationship doesn't serve you anymore, quit it. If that job doesn't serve you anymore, quit it. Whatever it is that doesn't serve you anymore and that is not aligned with what you want, it's okay to quit and it's encouraged to quit because 20 years from now, if you're just like not quitting and staying on that place, man, you're gonna regret it. So yeah, not quitting for me, the things that I want means quitting the things that are gonna drive me away from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome. Well, that's all for this episode. We are all excited to see you next week and we love you. Bye.